At 85, Angelina Jolie's father, Jon Voight, has finally confirmed the rumors that have swirled around for years. The Academy Award-winning actor, known for his iconic roles and his complicated relationship with his daughter, has always remained tight-lipped about the speculation. But now, in a shocking turn of events, Voight is opening up about the truth behind the whispers that have captivated Hollywood for decades. Angelina Jolie has had a complicated and strained relationship with her father, Jon Voight, that dates back to when she was just a baby. Voight left the family when Jolie was less than a year old, which was the start of their dysfunctional relationship. After her parents separated in 1976, Jolie and her brother lived with their mother, Marceline Bertrand. Jolie's mother had been an aspiring actress, but after the separation, she put her own career on hold to focus on raising her children. Bertrand's sacrifice and dedication to Jolie and her brother had a big impact on her, and their bond became very close. As a child, Jolie would often watch movies with her mother. It was these moments, sharing films and spending time together, that sparked Jolie's interest in acting. Even though her father was already a successful actor in Hollywood, it wasn't his career that inspired her to pursue acting. Instead, it was the time she spent with her mother and their shared love for films that planted the seeds of her passion for the craft. However, despite the tension with her father, Jolie did have a small role in one of his films when she was just 7 years old. She had a bit part in Voight's movie Looking to Get Out. This was one of her earliest experiences in front of the camera, though her relationship with her father remained distant and difficult for many years after. Throughout her life, Jolie has been open about the challenges in their relationship, often expressing how Voight's absence affected her growing up. As a teenager, Angelina Jolie went through a very tough time emotionally. She found it hard to connect with other people on a deep level, and this led her to engage in self-harm. She has spoken about this openly, explaining that cutting herself gave her a sense of release. Jolie once said, "For some reason, the ritual of having cut myself and feeling the pain, maybe feeling alive, feeling some kind of release, it was somehow therapeutic to me." In a way, it was how she coped with the overwhelming emotions she couldn't express or manage in other ways. During this period, Jolie also struggled with insomnia, which made it hard for her to sleep, and she battled an eating disorder. These issues were part of a larger struggle with her mental health. Alongside this, she began using substance. Angelina Jolie went through some incredibly dark moments in her life, where she struggled with severe depression. When she was 19, she felt so lost and overwhelmed that she actually planned to end her life. By the time she was 20, Jolie had experimented with nearly every substance out there, with heroin being one of the main ones. Her early years were filled with pain and turmoil as she tried to navigate life and deal with the emotional challenges that came her way. This difficult time in her life was something that she would later reflect on as she found her way through her personal struggles. She reached that same low point again at 22, and at that time, she took an extreme step. She tried to hire someone to take her life for her. These were times when she felt like there was no other way out. At 24, things reached a breaking point. Jolie experienced a nervous breakdown and was admitted to the psychiatric ward at UCLA Medical Center for 72 hours. It was a critical moment for her, and it showed just how deep her emotional struggles had become. But her life took a turn when she adopted her first child, Maddox. Becoming a mother brought her a sense of purpose and responsibility that changed everything. She has said that after she committed to caring for Maddox, she knew she could never go back to those self-destructive tendencies. From that point on, she found a new kind of stability in her life. It was a major turning point for her, where motherhood gave her a reason to fight through her personal battles and focus on something bigger than herself. Jolie's story is one of resilience, showing that even in the darkest times, things can change, and there can be a way forward. Jolie's relationship with Jenny. An interesting part of Angelina Jolie's life has been her openness about her sexuality and her relationship with gender. In the mid-90s, while working on the film Foxfire, Jolie began a relationship with model and actress Jenny Shimizu. What makes this relationship stand out is how deeply Jolie connected with Shimizu, even while she was married. In 1997, Jolie openly said, "I would probably have married Jenny if I hadn't married my husband." This speaks volumes about how strong her feelings were. She recalled falling in love with Shimizu the very first moment she saw her. Their relationship wasn't just a brief fling, it lasted for several years, and according to Shimizu, continued even when Jolie was involved with other romantic partners. This suggests that Jolie's connection with Shimizu went beyond typical relationships. It was deep and meaningful, and it lasted through different phases of Jolie's personal life. Jolie's openness about this relationship has always been a notable aspect of her life because, during that time, not many people in Hollywood were as candid about same-sex relationships. Jolie has never shied away from talking about her experiences and feelings, whether in romantic relationships with men or women. She has never hidden who she is. Her relationship with Shimizu is an example of how she's lived her life on her own terms, not fitting into anyone else's definitions or expectations regarding love, relationships, or gender. In a 1997 interview with the lesbian magazine Girlfriends, Angelina Jolie was asked how she felt about being seen as a sex symbol by both men and women. Her response was straightforward and open, reflecting her comfort with her sexuality. She simply said, "It's great because I love men and women." This statement showed that she embraced her appeal to both genders without hesitation, which was still somewhat uncommon in Hollywood at the time. Years later, in 2003, Jolie was asked if she considered herself bisexual. Once again, her answer was clear and confident. She responded, "Of course, if I fell in love with a woman tomorrow, would I feel that it's okay to want to kiss and touch her? If I fell in love with her? Absolutely, yes." With this, Jolie made it clear that love, for her, was not limited by gender. She saw no reason why her feelings for a woman should be any different from those for a man. This level of openness was significant because it showed Jolie's willingness to talk about her sexuality in a matter-of-fact way. Her words reflected a personal philosophy that was not confined by societal expectations. Instead, she believed in following her heart, whether that led her to a man or a woman. This candidness, especially about being bisexual, was part of what made Jolie stand out. She embraced her identity without fear of judgment, showing others that love could take many forms, and it was always okay to follow what felt right. Controversial brotherly kiss. In 2000, Angelina Jolie found herself at the center of media attention after an incident involving her brother, James Haven, during the Golden Globe Awards. That night, Jolie had won the award for Best Supporting Actress for her powerful performance in Girl, Interrupted. As she accepted the award, she shared a warm and affectionate kiss with her brother. What was intended to be a simple gesture of familial love quickly became the subject of widespread speculation and controversy. The media took the moment and ran with it, blowing the kiss out of proportion. Rumors began swirling about the nature of Jolie's relationship with her brother, with some even questioning if there was something inappropriate going on between them. It was a time when Jolie was already known for her bold and unconventional personality, so this only added fuel to the fire. However, Jolie was quick to dismiss these rumors. She explained that her relationship with James was simply a close bond between siblings, especially since they had gone through so much together growing up. She talked about how her family had always been a source of strength for her, and that night at the Golden Globes was simply an emotional moment where she wanted to share her happiness with her brother. In interviews, she made it clear that the kiss was nothing more than a heartfelt expression of sibling love, and that the media had taken it way out of context. Jolie's response helped put an end to much of the speculation, but the incident remained a topic of conversation for years. Some people couldn't get past the idea that a public display of affection between siblings could be so misunderstood. For Jolie, though, it was just another example of how her life and every action she took seemed to be put under a microscope by the public and the press. Despite the controversy, Jolie continued to maintain a close relationship with her brother. Over time, the rumors faded, and the public began to focus more on her acting career, her humanitarian work, and her growing family. The kiss, while controversial at the time, became just another chapter in Jolie's life, one that highlighted how even innocent moments could be twisted into something they were never meant to be. Jolie's ability to navigate the constant scrutiny of her personal life with grace and honesty has been one of the reasons she remains such a respected figure. She didn't let the rumors define her or her relationship with her brother. choosing instead to focus on what truly mattered: her work, her family, and staying true to herself. Public feud in 2002. Angelina Jolie's relationship with her father, actor Jon Voight, has been complicated for much of her life. From an early age, their time together was sporadic and often seemed to play out more in front of the public eye than in private. Voight had left the family when Jolie was still a baby, and this separation led to a strained bond between father and daughter. Though they would occasionally appear together for the press, it was clear their relationship lacked the depth and closeness that most people expect between parent and child. One notable moment when they tried to bridge the gap between them came in 2001, when they both starred in the action film Lara Croft Tomb Raider. At the time, it seemed like a turning point for their relationship. Voight played Jolie's on-screen father, and the experience of working together appeared to offer them a chance to reconnect. The media was full of stories about how the two were mending their relationship, and it gave the public the impression that things were improving. However, whatever progress they made while filming didn't last. Soon after, their relationship began to deteriorate once again. There were reports of ongoing tensions and misunderstandings between them. Jolie had long struggled with the emotional toll of her father's absence during her childhood, and it seemed these unresolved issues resurfaced, making it difficult for them to maintain any real closeness. In 2002, Jolie made a significant decision regarding her identity. She petitioned the court to legally remove her father's last name, Voight, and adopt her middle name, Jolie, as her surname. This was a powerful statement. Though she had already been using the name Angelina Jolie professionally for years, this legal move symbolized a deeper break from her father and the complicated history they shared. On September 12, 2002, her petition was granted, and she officially became Angelina Jolie. For Jolie, dropping the Voight name was more than just a career choice. It was about defining herself on her own terms, separate from her father's legacy. Jon Voight, a renowned actor in his own right, had a significant presence in Hollywood, but Jolie wanted to forge her own path without the weight of his name or influence. In many ways, it was a declaration of independence, both personally and professionally. Their estrangement continued for many years. Jolie often spoke about the impact her father's absence had on her growing up and how it influenced her understanding of family and relationships. While Voight made public efforts to reconcile, it was clear that Jolie needed time and space to process their history. In interviews, she was honest about the difficulties she faced in coming to terms with their relationship. In 2002, Angelina Jolie's already strained relationship with her father, Jon Voight, took a turn for the worse when Voight made a public statement during an interview on Access Hollywood. He claimed that Jolie was dealing with serious mental problems. This public airing of their private issues was a deeply painful moment for Jolie. Not only did it make their estrangement even more public, but it also added to the emotional weight of their already complex relationship. As a result of Voight's comments, Jolie's mother, Marceline Bertrand, and her brother, James Haven, decided to break off contact with Voight as well. This family rift meant that for the next 6.5 years, there was no communication between Jolie and her father. It was a period of complete separation, where both sides lived their lives without crossing paths. During this time, Jolie focused on her career, her growing family, and her humanitarian work, while Voight continued his acting career, but without a connection to his daughter. What brought them back together came from something very personal. In 2007, Jolie's mother, Marceline Bertrand, passed away from ovarian cancer. Bertrand's death had a profound impact on Jolie. She had been incredibly close to her mother, who had sacrificed her own acting career to raise her children after her separation from Voight. Losing her mother was a moment of immense grief for Jolie, but it also seemed to open the door to a potential reconciliation with her father. In the wake of Bertrand's death, Jolie and Voight slowly began to rebuild their relationship. The loss of her mother made Jolie reflect on the importance of family, even with all the complexities and difficulties involved. While their healing process wasn't immediate, it marked the beginning of a new chapter for both of them. Angelina Jolie was profoundly affected by the death of her mother, Marceline Bertrand, in 2007. Her mother had been her rock, a constant source of support throughout her life. When Bertrand passed away from ovarian cancer, it left a deep void in Jolie's life. Jolie has spoken about how losing her mother was one of the hardest moments she had ever faced. They had an incredibly close bond, and Bertrand's death forced Jolie to confront her own health in a very personal way. In interviews, Jolie has shared how much her mother's passing influenced her. Bertrand had battled cancer for many years, and seeing her mother suffer left a lasting impact on Jolie. It was a reminder of the fragility of life and how crucial it is to prioritize health and well-being. For Jolie, it became not just about mourning her mother's death, but also about taking steps to protect her own life and the lives of her children. In 2013, Jolie made headlines when she revealed that she had undergone a preventive double mastectomy. She had tested positive for the BRCA1 gene, which significantly increased her risk of developing breast and ovarian cancer. Her decision to have the surgery was directly influenced by her mother's battle with cancer. Jolie didn't want her children to experience the same kind of loss she had endured with her mother. She wanted to be proactive and take control of her health before it was too late. Jolie explained that her mother's death pushed her to make these difficult decisions. She saw the toll cancer took on Bertrand, and she didn't want to wait until she was facing the same fate. It wasn't an easy choice, but it was one that gave her peace of mind. Jolie later underwent another preventive surgery to remove her ovaries and fallopian tubes, further reducing her cancer risk. Through all of this, Jolie has been open about how her mother's death changed her outlook on life. Bertrand's influence extended beyond just health decisions. It shaped the way Jolie approached being a mother herself. She has often said that her mother taught her the importance of love, care, and nurturing, and these values are central to how Jolie raises her own children. Losing her mother also made Jolie more reflective about the passage of time and the legacy she would leave behind. She has spoken about how her mother's strength and grace during her illness inspired her to live her life with purpose. Jolie wants to be there for her children, just as her mother was for her, and she is determined to do everything in her power to ensure that she remains healthy and strong for as long as possible. The duo reconnection. Despite the long years of estrangement, Angelina Jolie and her father, Jon Voight, eventually managed to reconcile. Their journey back to some level of understanding wasn't easy, and it didn't happen overnight. It took time, and one of the biggest reasons for their reconciliation was Jolie's children. Becoming a grandparent brought a new dynamic to their relationship, allowing them to move past some of the hurt that had divided them for so long. Jolie has spoken about how the presence of her kids helped repair some of the damage between her and her father. Even though they were able to rebuild their relationship, Jolie has been clear that things remain complicated. The wounds from the past don't simply disappear, but Jolie has made an effort to set strict boundaries in order to protect herself emotionally. One of the key rules she put in place was not to discuss their painful history. This has allowed them to move forward without constantly revisiting old grievances, giving them a chance to focus on the present and build a different kind of connection. In 2017, Jolie opened up about how she and her father had reconnected through her children. At that time, her family was already going through significant changes, as she and Brad Pitt had separated in 2016. Jolie and Pitt are parents to 6 children: Maddox, Pax, Zahara, Shiloh, and twins Vivian and Knox. For Jolie, it was important that her children knew their grandfather, and this shared bond helped bridge the gap between her and Voight. She described the process as finding a new relationship. It wasn't about forgetting the past or pretending their difficulties hadn't existed, but rather about forging a path forward. Voight's role as a grandfather helped ease some of the tension, giving them both a reason to focus on what mattered most, the well-being and happiness of the children. When Angelina Jolie divorced Brad Pitt, her father, Jon Voight, didn't shy away from making his opinions public. In an interview with Fox News, Voight expressed his concerns about the long-standing legal battle between Jolie and Pitt. He openly wished for the divorce proceedings to be resolved and urged both of them to make peace. Voight's primary concern seemed to be for his grandchildren, as he mentioned how much the children needed stability during this tumultuous time. At the time of the interview, Voight was 85 years old, and he made it clear that he loved both his daughter and her children. but also wanted Pitt to take responsibility and help end the conflict. Voight's words, though they came from a place of concern, were seen as airing private family matters, which Jolie did not appreciate. To make things worse, this public commentary followed another incident where Voight criticized Jolie's political views, particularly her stance on the Israel-Hamas conflict. Voight, a vocal conservative, claimed that Jolie's views on the matter were the result of her being exposed to propaganda, particularly through her work with the United Nations as a former Goodwill ambassador. Jolie had already been upset by these comments, as it touched a nerve regarding her humanitarian work. Voight's public remarks about her divorce and the situation with her children only added to the strain between them, highlighting the complicated and often difficult nature of their relationship. It's clear that Voight's attempts to weigh in on his daughter's personal and political life, no matter how well-intentioned, have not always been well received by Jolie. His critical comments, particularly in the midst of her highly publicized divorce, seem to have deepened the rift between them, showing that even though they have reconciled in some ways over the years, their relationship remains fragile and marked by significant differences in opinion. Political differences. Another significant source of tension between Angelina Jolie and her father, Jon Voight, has been their starkly different political views. Voight, a strong and vocal supporter of conservative political figures, stands in sharp contrast to Jolie's well-known humanitarian work and progressive stances on global issues. These differences have often been a point of contention, and at times Voight has publicly criticized Jolie's positions, adding strain to their already fragile relationship. Despite their differing beliefs, there have been moments where things seemed calm between them. For instance, in June, Jon expressed pride in Angelina and her daughter Vivienne after The Outsiders, a project they produced, won a Tony Award. He spoke warmly about his daughter, praising her for encouraging her children to follow their own paths. "I'm really proud of Angie because she really tries to encourage each of the kids to be what they want to be," Voight said. "But even moments like these haven't been enough to smooth over the deeper issues." Jolie has often found her father's political views hard to accept, but what really angers her is when Voight publicly speaks about her children, as though he knows more than he should. A source close to Jolie revealed, "Angelina finds her dad's politics hard to stomach, but she really draws the line when he talks about her kids as though he has some inside scoop." This, in particular, makes Jolie furious, as it brings back memories of Voight's past behavior that she found self-centered. Jolie, who has worked hard to keep her personal life and her children's lives as private as possible, sees this as a major breach of trust. Voight's actions serve as a reminder of why their relationship has been so troubled for so long. For her, it proves that despite some efforts to reconnect, her father still crosses boundaries, putting his own opinions and interests above their complicated family dynamics. In many ways, their differing worldviews reflect the long-standing gap between them. While Jolie has dedicated much of her life to humanitarian causes, advocating for refugees, children's rights, and gender equality, Voight's political opinions have been a source of public controversy. This divide is more than just a difference in opinion. It represents the clashing values that have defined their relationship for years. Despite attempts at reconciliation, moments like this continue to show how difficult it can be to truly heal old wounds. For Jolie, it's not just about politics, but about boundaries, respect, and the pain of a complicated family history. As much as she has tried to move forward, her father's actions often remind her of why their relationship has been so strained, making any lasting peace between them an ongoing challenge. Jolie relationship with Akala. Angelina Jolie has always been in the public eye, and her personal relationships often draw significant attention. Recently, she's been linked to rapper and journalist Akala, which has stirred up quite a bit of interest, especially given that Akala is already in a serious relationship. This potential entanglement has some people worried that it might turn into a scandal, similar to the media frenzy that erupted 20 years ago when Jolie's relationship with Brad Pitt overshadowed his marriage to Jennifer Aniston. According to an insider who spoke with In Touch, Jolie seems to be very close with Akala, even to the point where their closeness is raising eyebrows. The source mentioned, Angelina seems totally infatuated with Akala. Apparently, they spend a significant amount of time together, and their chemistry is hard to miss. Between the amount of time they spend together and how cozy they are with one another, you'd never for a second think that he's got a long-term girlfriend, the source added. Recently, Jolie has been spotted multiple times with Akala, who is 40 years old. Their public appearances together have certainly sparked rumors, even though some reports clarified in late August that they are not dating. Instead, it said that they have been friends for several years. Despite these claims, Akala is currently in a relationship with Chanel Newman, his longtime girlfriend. But despite this, Jolie's connection with him continues to attract attention. The relationship between Jolie and Akala seems complicated, and it's drawing concern from people close to them. The source from In Touch described Jolie as being very touchy-feely with Akala, which has only fueled further speculation. Anytime they're in the same city, they make time to meet up, according to The Insider. Really? Any chance she gets, she's with him, they said. According to In Touch, Angelina Jolie and British rapper Akala, whose real name is Kingsley James McLean Daly, have been spending time together quietly for over a year. Their connection first became noticeable when they were spotted meeting up at the Calabash Literary Festival in Jamaica in May 2023. Jolie wasn't alone. She brought her daughters, Zahara and Shiloh, along as well. Then, 6 months later, they were seen having dinner together in Milan, further fueling speculation about their relationship. Akala, known not just for his music but also for his activism, seems to have built a strong bond with Jolie over their shared passions. Both have been deeply involved in humanitarian efforts, and it appears that this common interest sparked a deeper connection between them. According to an insider, they first bonded over their shared love of activism and humanitarianism, and then a connection sparked. This connection has grown to the point where the two of them have even discussed potential collaborations on projects, as both of them run their own production companies. One thing that stands out about Akala, according to those close to Jolie, is how refreshing and supportive he has been in her life. After many high-profile relationships, it seems like Jolie has found someone she can truly trust. He's been such a refreshing influence in her life and someone she can really lean on and trust because he's so discreet, the insider shared. This level of discretion has been important to Jolie, especially given how much her life is often under public scrutiny. Akala's girlfriend, Chanel Newman, has reportedly been rarely on the scene, which has only fueled rumors that Jolie might eventually take the relationship further. While nothing has been confirmed, people around them have noted how protective Akala is of Jolie and her children, which has made him a valued person in her life. He's like a vault, and he's very protective of her and her kids, the source added, emphasizing just how much Jolie values his presence. For Jolie, who is no stranger to having her personal life splashed across headlines, this situation could become a lot more challenging if it continues to develop. Given her past relationships and how much the media loves to latch onto her romantic life. This friendship with Akala, especially with his girlfriend in the picture, has the potential to become quite the story. Though neither Jolie nor Akala has confirmed anything beyond friendship, the nature of their closeness is enough to keep people talking. Jolie's life has always been under a microscope, and any new relationship, especially one as potentially controversial as this, tends to attract speculation. Whether or not this friendship with Akala grows into something more, the attention it's receiving suggests that people are keeping a close eye on what happens next. But if you thought that was the only headline-grabbing twist in Angelina Jolie's life, think again. At just 20 years old, her and Brad Pitt's son has stepped into the spotlight to confirm the rumors we've all been wondering about for years. What exactly did he reveal? And how will this shocking truth impact one of Hollywood's most famous families? To find out, click on the video appearing on your screen right now and dive into the bombshell that's set to shake things up even more. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.